pretty good. What do you got?
Oh.
What do you call them?
Video camera. Yeah. That's what I've got.
It's been a long time since I saw you. How you still navigating all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Do you still working there in Wichita?
Well, I live in Fort Worth. I'm Kelly.
Oh yeah, God dog, I'll get you all mixed up.
I know.
Long since seeing you.
Yeah.
Well, you still in the bank?
No, I changed jobs since
Oh, you did?
I'm working in downtown Fort Worth.
Oh, are you?
You know, I got married about a year ago.
Well, it seemed like Thorntondale said something about one time, you know, he went down there, didn't he, or something?
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah. Well, see, Blaine got married 4 years ago, and I got married last year.
Yeah. Well, when you married 50 years, well, you can celebrate another.
We got a long ways to go, 50 years.
Gosh, I've been married, let's see, 54, I guess it is. I see I married in 1934.
Good night. That's great.
54 years ago. Golly, I'll tell you what. There's been a lot of water run on the bridge since then, and a lot of things happened. Had all that, you know, that old depression and all that.
Yeah.
You couldn't even buy a job back in them days. I worked for $1 a day on the farm, and you know, anything I could get to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very little. Very little, I mean, tell you. Wasn't nobody had any money.
So for that $1 a day, you do whatever they told you to do, huh?
Right, yeah. Of course, you can take $1 then and buy some more stuff. I live on $5 a week. Work 5 days and go to town on Saturday and buy enough groceries to last for the next Saturday.
Yeah.
Gasoline, 10 cents, I get 10 cents a gallon. And then it finally went up to 12 cents. And from then on, you know, just gradually keep coming on up and coming on up.
Mm-hmm.
15 cents a gallon. I had an old 4-cylinder Chevrolet. Of course, I could get, around 30 miles a gallon, something like that, 25. I thought about things that happened back then, you know, I just wondered how people made it. Actually, I don't see, you know, keep them starving to death.
Yeah.
Gosh, it was something, I mean, it was something.
Yeah, it's hard to look back and figure how it got along. Well, how's Ruby?
She's done very well. She, of course, you know, she's got her bad days and good days. I know I stripped cane one time back in them days. An old boy, he planted a bunch of, you know, I call it syrup cane. You know, it grew up there high, you know, you'd strip it, take it and cut it and then haul it to a mill, and an old guy had a mill and he'd hook a mule to it and then go around and around. And you'd poke that, you had big old rollers. You'd feed that cane in there, you know, and it had a trough down on the bottom. Some 2-inch pipe run off down yonder on the creek and had a vat, you know, to cook that, make that syrup.
Huh.
Gosh, it pulled them old, they call them puns, you know, after you squeeze all the juice out and pile them, drag them back, you know, make them, had a big pile. You go home at night and you pull your clothes off and they just stand up. Get that juice all over you, golly, you just be so sticky and taking, of course, strip them off and get in the bathtub. But then I've thought about that, you know, your pants, you know, just pull them on and they just almost stand up.
Stand them in the corner, huh?
Yeah, till the next morning. And they'd pay you in syrup. 2 gallons, I got 2 gallons for one time, you know, it was, I think it was 3 days. making that batch of syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me 2 gallons for heaven.
What was that worth in dollars?
I guess 35 cents a gallon, something like that. That's what I think these stores, if you went in the store and bought it.
Yeah.
Which wasn't much, you know. I mean, back then, now, a good night it cost. But if you knew just exactly how to cook that off, it wouldn't be so strong. But that syrup was so strong, boy, I couldn't hardly go. Of course, we had some cows. You mix that butter in there with it, that weakened it down a little. But that, you know, that cow butter, boy, I mean, it was greasy. But Mother, she'd cook some cornbread, you know, and it'd be hot. And then you slice cornbread, you know, and then open them up and then put that butter on there and then pour that syrup on there. Well, it was pretty good, boy. I mean, it'd fill you up and you're ready to go again. And it was something, I mean, back in them days. Of course, people raised a garden and farmed, you know, and raised what to eat. Some people have hogs, you know, and they kill them hogs. And we did. We had some hogs. We'd kill them. It's one that doggone meat hadn't killed us, but it didn't. That old greasy meat, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's all everybody had, wasn't
Oh
it?
yeah, that's all they ever had. They didn't know they didn't know any better, you know. It wasn't. Sometimes some guy he'd kill a beef, you know, and peddle it out over the country, and sell that, you know, beef. Of course, you had to because you had no way of keeping it. You had to get rid of it, and then they'd cook it up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in the wintertime we had a smokehouse, you know, what they call a smokehouse. We'd kill these hogs and dress them, hang them hams and shoulders, you know, inside in this smokehouse where it's cold, you know. It'd cure out good. You'd go out there, you know, and just take a sharp butcher knife and slice that off, you know, slice it off. Take it back to the house and cook it. The old boy had a goat, you know, he fattened this goat out, sold that goat, one peddled it out over the country.
Huh. Well, this was when, in the 20s or?
Yeah, back in the 20s, yeah. Sure was, yeah.
So, let me see, you were born, what year?
1914, it was the first day of August, 1914. I'm 74 years old.
So you were a teenager back then?
Oh, yeah. I was just a kid then. He hung that darn goat up out there to a tree, alive now, and cut his throat and let him bleed to death hanging there. You know, blood all run out of it.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the way they say you're supposed to do a goat if you butcher him, you know. You got to hang him up and cut his throat and let him bleed to death. And that's the first and the only goat meat I ever eat. Well, I can't even tell you though hard how it tastes. Ruby, she won't eat goat meat. No, boy. Oh, she said it stinks. I don't want it.
Well, you can get that stuff in Fort Worth now.
Oh yeah.
It's popular.
Sheep, you know, lambs, and you know that, what do they call it, mutton and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make Mexican food with that goat meat.
Yeah. How's your car holding up?
I'll tell you what, I've had that thing 4 years, and I've had some trouble with the air conditioner, but that motor is just perfect like everything.
Staying, huh?
It's one of those rotary engines.
Yeah. Yeah. Mazda?
Uh-huh.
Good. Not them things as high they advertise them on television. Whew.
Yeah, they're about 16,000 to 18,000.
That's just too much money.
Well, what's this car you're driving right here?
Chevrolet 54.
54.
6-cylinder.
Now, how many miles have you got on it?
It's got 233,000. 300.
233,000.
Yeah, and 300 miles right there on the speedometer. It's went around twice, and we started on the third go around.
Well, how much have you worked on that motor?
3 times. I've overhauled it 3 times. It's got about, last time, it was in 84 when I overhauled it. It's got about nearly 14,000 since I overhauled it. Well, it had 19,700, and now it's got 33,300.
Yeah.
What would that figure?
That's 14,000.
14,000 miles.
How do you remember how many miles it had when you overhauled that?
Oh, I wrote it down, but I just got it in my mind.
Yeah, because that's been, what'd you say, 4 years ago?
Yeah, 84. In August. The 14th day of August, I cranked it. It took me 2 days.
To overhaul it?
Yeah, I put rings in it and new bearings, rod bearings. I didn't put mains. I just take the shim. See, it's got shims on the mains. I just taken out a shim, and buckle it back up and turn them over. See, just if it's too tight, I'd have to add another one back.
Yeah.
And I put new rod bearings and new rings and ground the valve. They didn't need much because it was still hitting, it wasn't missing. Just touched them up a little, Yeah, it's 14,000 what I got on
Goodness.
the last overhaul.
Last night we went up there to the Halloween carnival.
Yeah,
Got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time.
I bet you did, yeah.
And of course there was even more I didn't know.
Who is that face?
He looks like her. Yeah.
Well, what kind of a vehicle is that?
That is a Buick,
Yeah.
something or other.
I don't know what, I tell you what, nowadays,
That's a Skylark. That's what it is, a Buick Skylark.
yeah, I see the wheels on the other side, John says Buick.
Reckon she has enough antennas on it?
Looks like she got a dang CB, I imagine, in there, and then the radio, too.
Yeah, looks like the law.
Yeah.
You know how they have.
Yeah. I don't know now. They tell me them things ain't no good. I've heard that.
The new cars?
Buicks, yeah. That little V6, especially the V6. If you get it ain't no good.
Well, I think that one of them will roll off that assembly line and it's just a perfect car. The next one will roll off and it's a lemon.
That's right.
You can't ever tell.
If I had the money to buy a new one, you know what, I wouldn't know what to buy. Actually, I wouldn't.
Will you still have your pickup?
No, I'll give it back to Buford, that oldest boy now.
So is this the only car you got now?
Yeah, this is all of it right here. But this old thing, I'll tell you what, brother, it's been a good one. I mean, it's been good. I went to Arkansas, ain't you know, and in them mountains,
Yeah.
shoot, you just climb them mountains in second gear, just go right on up.
Now, when was this?
Back in '59. And I went to New Mexico in it. Drove around up in there. You never did even look back. You just get right after now, up there now. I got into a few mountains in Mexico. It just get right on up. You know where old Billy the Kid's buried? Fort Summers.
Fort Summers?
I drove right up to his grave there. Big old tomb, man. That thing looked like 6 or 8 feet tall. 6 feet in here. And gosh, I don't know. Well, you know that other guy's buried there with him. I can't think of his name.
Garrett? Pat Garrett?
And people chipped the corner of that tomb off a little just round. You know, all of them. But when I was out there, that was in 63, It might have been 62. But somebody had stole that doggone tomb, and they had, you know, man alive, it's as big as that El Camino yonder.
Well, how'd they steal it?
They had to have a darn winch truck, and they had got it back. And they had an 8-foot chain link fence around that sucker. I mean, man, you wasn't about to get in there unless you had a cutting torch. But here, they had chipped these corners off of that tomb back to almost into the name, you know.
Yeah. Well, what'd they do that for?
People getting souvenirs. That was before they stole it, you know. They put this fence around it.
Yeah.
And they had a museum there. Cost you a quarter. I give them a quarter and went in there. They claimed they had his gun. They had all these old guns, you know, in this big showcase. Case, you know, glass, had glass, you could see through it.
Yeah.
They claimed they had his gun and this other guy's gun and all them, bunch of them desperators, but where they was or not, I don't know. But anyhow, they had them guns, all in there. Had a calf, white-faced calf, and there was 2 heads, stuffed, you know.
Oh, so he wasn't alive?
No, he was stuffed.
Well, they say those things are born all the time. Or five legs or 2
His
tails.
head and neck, they just growed out, you know, from each side. 2 head and neck.
So it looked real?
Yeah, just come together right here in his shoulders, you know. Just come back together and then 2 heads.
Well, did anything like that ever get born around here?
I never did hear of it around here. I don't know where that can come from or where it was off out in there, I guess somewhere. And there was somebody else there that had another, I don't know if it's Jesse James or Cole Younger or some of them that had their guns, they claimed. And all that. They had everything, golly, they had all kind of old muzzle loaders, them old Heimer guns, you know, back there.
Yeah.
And I left there and went up, and it was right there on that Pecos River. And I left there and went on, it was about 3 or 4 miles on up to the town of Fort Sumner. And I went up through this valley, right up that river. And you ever seen as many apples and peaches and pears? My goodness alive. That's all it was. On each side, keep it in 235. Keep it in.
Right.
There she is.
Yep, plain and simple.
Yeah, easy to work on. I had to put this water pump on it about what it's been on there a year ago in March. I got the water when I crank it in the morning when it's cold, especially. I hear some kind of the grinding somewhere.
Huh.
Well, I got looking and wondering what that was, and I found I killed it. Got a hold of that fan, baby, he's working. Bearing was coming, you know, wearing out in it. You work that back and forth, and the shaft, you know, went through the bearing and then back in where you pump your propeller.
Yeah.
You work it. So old Napa, down there at No Corner, I went in there and I said, old Fred Carver, I'd known him for a long time. I said, Fred, reckon you can find me a water pump for that? Yeah, I think so. So he did. I said, well, order me one. And he ordered it, and I come on back home because I thought, well, maybe I can make it back home and then back down there. And the next day, over an evening, he called me and said, I got your water pump. I said, well, what do you ask? And I went down and got it. Come back home, put her on. I've got another generator down there. It's ready to go when this one quits.
Oh, you got you a spare?
Yeah. And then I got a spare starter. And I run 8-volt batteries on it. It's supposed to have 6, you know, but that 8-volt wham, boy, she go every time you call on
That gives her plenty of fire.
Give her headlights, boy, them lights can knock your eyes out of them.
You mean you blind the jackrabbits?
Oh, yeah. Right in under there. You know, it's just a little old bolt, quarter inch. Well, it's screwed into the frame. And I got me a little bitty bit and drilled in there and finally got that piece out. You know, screwed it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you painted it, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I've painted it twice since I had it. Oh, I just brushed it on.
Yeah, it's good. Good and thick that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's the way I did that old green Chevrolet pickup I had. I put some of that Texaco green on it.
Yeah,
Up there when I was living in the Stein house.
I bought the first paint at United Electric, which I bought. Well, that old boy mixed it, you know, behind. He just poured this in it and he poured that in it.
What?
Okay. Hey, Elsa.
Huh?
Hey, Elsa.
Hello.
He's
Dude.
kind of strange.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, stranger.
Yeah. Pick me up hitchhiking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's good. How's about to pick you up?
I know. They brought me up here to Ringgold. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh. I don't know what I'm doing here either. I always blame Dell when I don't get some mail.
Well, that's a good scapegoat.
He usually hunts something up and gives me. Well, how'd Joe like the carnival last night?
I had a good time.
They said there was a big crowd up there.
There was. The bleachers were full, and the floor was full. You know, every year they always have that place just jam-packed.
Yeah.
It was real good. We saw Carla. You know, we missed her last time
Yeah.
whenever we was over there. So I got to see her.
And she said she saw you.
And,
Lou said she never did see you.
well, I saw her up there in the stands. I saw Rick, and she was sitting up there, and I didn't get her attention to wave at her, because we never went up in the stands.
Well, I was supposed
But
to went to Houston.
Trina, that's Carla's girl.
Yeah.
Saw her. She was just darling.
I was supposed to went to Houston this week, but the way it turned out, I didn't go, and so I don't get to go. I guess we'll just put it off indefinitely.
Oh, it's over there. Which one is it?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3, go.
One for the
And
money,
where's
two
Mama
for
and Papa's
the
over here?
show.
It's
Winston.
026.
F and S, fast service.
And then yours is AJ and something.
Between AK and L.
Between AK and L.
AK and S and L.
What does that stand for?
I don't know.
AK means,
Between K and A.
yeah. AK is also known, L is also known as a lover.
No, yeah.
Known as K-A-L, known as lover. I think that's a good one. Yum, yum. You sure? I don't think so. Well, turn it off. I'm too close.
And he said a big ball of fire just came in that back porch and went down to the deep freeze and the washing machine and all that electric line coming in there. And then all of a sudden their telephone wouldn't work. And it had burned out that little cordless that was in the kitchen. And when they unplugged that, then the other phone system worked. But it got both TVs. He had the one fixed that was still in warranty, the Magnavox, and the big one, 26 inch. And it had been repaired twice. It went out once before, same thing. And this time, go around here if you're in that big a hurry. anyway, he took this one back and they fixed it again, but he had to pay labor, $40, $50 labor. But his house insurance pays the labor and the telephone about $50 for it, and replaced the other one, so it didn't cost him too much.
Well, was there a deductible on there?
Yeah, I think so. I never did know exactly how much he got. He never did say for sure. But he came out.
Hey, from the station, you were driving that old Plymouth, had a flat tire, remember that? Somewhere right in this stretch. It was a cold day.
Ice was on the road?
Yeah.
I'll show you that's where it was.
Well, I thought it was up there close to that hill. It seemed like it was a long walk up there to the house.
Well, it was a long walk being that cold, but it was in this flat right here before you get to the creek bridge. Yeah, we just
Pulled over.
We couldn't make it with that flat and ice on the road. We couldn't go anywhere. So we walked against that north wind up that hill.
So is this flat or that flat there?
I was thinking it was right here. Right there.
Right here, where that breaks over.
Yeah. I was thinking it was right there. Yeah,
Well, it seemed like it was a 5-mile hike, and it was cold, and you said, now don't talk or else you'll get sick, because if your mouth's open, that cold air will blow in there.
Well,
I think that was an excuse to get me to shut up.
You know they've changed the road right here, don't you?
You mean where they moved it 100 feet one way or the other, didn't they?
Yeah. See, it comes in right here and goes down, crosses the railroad track on a grade crossing.
Oh, I
and
see.
they took the old bridge out.
You mean the old bridge is just gone completely?
It's gone. Yeah. See, there's the old road bridge right there.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
From here to the way up there, a lot of room for a little old monoplane.
Well, those are they still used for watermelon fields?
Oh, they've changed it to wheat.
It does look like they're growing some winter wheat there.
Yeah, no, they've raised melons there a long time.
Here's the bridge. It's not like it used to be.
No? She curved off right there. They finally got all the old structure down. Should be pretty nice for fishing.
Well, it's not as down as I thought it would be.
It's down a lot from what it's been this summer. Here's the world famous Doug's Peach Orchard. Named so because this used to be a peach orchard, this piece of ground through here.
No. Is there any orchard trees? So I don't remember it ever being on this side.
Oh, it was over here long many years.
Well, when did it change?
Well, I guess, I don't know, right here, this used to be the Lane 10 or whatever.
Or do you remember it being over here?
Yeah. Yeah, it changed while I was growing up. This cage was just barely covered up.
Well, the water went clear up to there to that hill up there.
All up solid.
It just flooded all out in there. And that river is probably what, 3/4 of a mile wide then, or maybe a full mile. If that old bridge is gone. Right down there is whenever we was running that trail that time, and Trace, remember that? We was running down that trail and we jumped over a snake, a rattlesnake.
Jumped over it?
Well, he was in the trail and Niecy was going first, I think. She jumped over it, and then the second one kind of jumped on it, and the third and fourth of us kind of bailed out. There's the old Hughes house. The old big tree's gone in the front of the yard. And they bricked it up. And the old windmill back there isn't there anymore.
No, we put a well house over that.
Yep, that cellar is still back there to the right.
Yeah. Yeah, the cellar's still back there. Car garage.
They've added some kind of carport or patio out there.
The old mailbox is in the same place.
Yep, the old road used to go right there. And right over here was where the road graders would keep it all cut out, and there was tadpoles. Every time it'd rain, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Water would stand right there, and tadpoles of the Lord would be there. The creek was closer. Because somewhere down in there, there was an old Indian hunting grounds or campgrounds or something. Remember that?
No.
I thought there were some places in here Gene Wilson used to find some airheads or something.
No, wherever he's this place.
And then right over there somewhere is where, wasn't it Cherry that got hit by the train? The bird